Good morning. Good morning, my promised land friends. Let me move the mic closer so you can hear me and I don't have to project as much. It's morning time, which means it's meditation time for me. And I enjoy these moments as I keep on thinking about the good work we are doing. And I tell you that it's just been a custom of mine for almost 4 years now, to where I listen to good things in my sleep. And at first, it started as an accident, just because it would be something that I actually, didn't mind going to sleep to. I would be listening to audiobooks, okay, of the things that I wanted to learn and study. And this is when my desire for metaphysics first awakened. Desire to understand metaphysics, and I could just understand it. It just made sense to me. And the reason why it made sense to me is because um, I used to be a minister, and I know the Bible better than most, and uh, and so some things in the metaphysical teachings of these books that I was listening to in my sleep was initially accidentally, um, helped me to see very practical applications of uh, biblical demonstrations of behavior and why those biblical demonstrations of behavior resulted in uh, a response from the Creator. Um, and in the Bible, we thrust upon those men very divine attributes. Okay, and the way that they're preached, they're great men. They're recorded in history. Okay, they're recorded in stories that have been passed down for thousands of years. Okay, and so we thrust upon these folks um, what we might feel like is a station in life that we are unable to achieve. And that might be for a couple of reasons. One, if their name is recorded in history like that for a reason for the creator, then, the creator definitely called that individual. Okay, that person had a divine purpose in this grand story of life that we live. Um, but here's the thing that goes along with the call. Um, uh, there is a certain level of belief in the creator for the creator to show up like that to one of those special individuals. Okay, there's a belief in the creator. There's a belief about um, something very strong. I'm going somewhere. Stay with me. We may not think it the same principle or faith that's in action when we apply this to secular terms, but it's the same faith. It's the same power that is responding to the faith that somebody has. So, for example, a very popular celebrity. So let's just say Beyonce. So Beyonce uh, had this faith of who she was able to be from a very early age, and she held true to that faith and what she believed possible about her talents and abilities and the life that she saw for herself has now manifested. And you don't know what Beyonce's religious beliefs are. You don't know what they are, but you know that she has great faith in her ability. And as a result, the creator responded to her faith. Okay, so you could just kind of see like it's still the same principle of stubborn faith that is being applied here, and there is a response to that righteousness from the creator. Okay, so um, what I've learned and what my affirmations teach are and some of the things that I teach and the things that I tell you are very practical applications of uh, uh, biblically demonstrated behavior to get uh, the response from God that it is that you're seeking. Okay, that's part of the output of this experience that I live. So one of my favorite parables now is To one who has, more shall be given. Well, one of my favorite scriptures. This is associated with the parable, and it's the parable of the sower. And this is also said in the parable of the 10 minas, the parable of the 10 talents. It's said in, Jesus gives this parable more than once. Basically, um, he always ends up and says, to one who has, more shall be given. Or if you're faithful over a few things, God will make you ruler over many things. And so one of the things that I have been, this is the same actual demonstration of the parable. Okay, I have, the creator showed me my very specific way to apply this. And I was seeking this, and the creator just said, "This is what you're doing." This kind of how it unfolded for me. I was demonstrating a certain type of behavior. Okay, and then the creator says to me, "Listen, this is a biblical demonstration you are showing me right now. So this should be the result from you based on this parable." Okay. And so to one who has, more shall be given. I've been very faithful over the very good things that I think and the words that I speak because of the 30-day mental diet. I'm very faithful about uh, my morning meditation, and I have been for several years. I'm very faithful about my time to write. I'm very faithful about the work that I do with this group. I'm very faithful about the affirmations that I write. I am very faithful about um, a whole host of things, especially spending time understanding these metaphysical principles and uh, making a very intentional choice to demonstrate the biblical behavior depending on how I feel like I should respond in a moment. I'm going somewhere with this. When Jesus spoke, he spoke in parables. And, different people have preached that. But, when you go to Sunday morning service in most churches, those sermons also um, cause a level of shame or guilt to arise because you see yourself as falling short of God. And because of that, you are not uh, constantly exposed to your divine ability through God. Okay, and that's a better sermon. Okay, a better sermon is to speak over a person their divine ability through God than to remind them how they're not like God. Because reminding a person of what their divine ability is through God gives them a divine response and behavior. If you keep speaking it over a person, it's just going to manifest eventually because you are speaking to that person's divine nature. You're speaking to that person's subconscious mind, and that subconscious mind is getting really good encouragement and commands. Okay, and so Jesus talked about being faithful over few in the parables. And what happens is when you're faithful over few, um, you become a ruler over many. So let me just tell you how that's worked for me. All the things that I do right now, they just started off as things that I enjoyed because they were good for my mental health. That's what all of this began as, and it has turned into um, my life's work, something that I'm very passionate about. And so, taking the time to do something that was initially really just good for me, to help me understand the things that I was going through. Um, and as I protected that time, God saw I was faithful over that time, and the reason why I was faithful over that time, and creation's response. This is a response of creation. Even though it's in my case is very spiritually anchored. Okay, the same principle would apply as if I were to take the first hour of my day and apply it to anything else. And I was very devout about that time for whatever that specific purpose was. It could be anything. The same spiritual principle is going to apply if I'm carving out time to do something that I love, that is of good service. Like, actually, I won't even say of good service. If I carve out time to do something that I love, I'm faithful over that time, whatever it might be. Creation is going to protect that time. You've demonstrated your behavior as I'm faithful over this few amount of time, this small amount of time. You get what I'm saying, right? And so creation's response is going to be, all right, we recognize his faithfulness over few. Let's keep adding to this because we see what he's faithful over. If you take away the spiritual um, uh, um, how you have to turn your heart towards God, and it seems like it's such a refining walk towards salvation, but you look at it as just regular demonstration of behavior of life, you'll see the same principle magnified all throughout your life, all throughout your life. Trust me, okay? Whatever you are faithful over, okay, you are getting a whole bunch of that. That you're being made ruler over many of whatever it is that you're faithful over, okay? Period, right? So whatever that might be. And so in a lot of the teaching that I give you, and also just how I keep reaffirming, trust the affirmations, trust the affirmations, trust the affirmations. If you become faithful over feeding these affirmations to your subconscious, become faithful over saying them before you go to sleep, become faithful when you say them when you wake up, become faithful of arresting a negative thought and substituting with a positive thought. Be faithful over only choosing to speak the things that you actually want to see happen in your life, right? All those things, become faithful over those. What happens is you will be made ruler over many, and you just have to think ruler over many is not always something material. Okay, it is. If you could be rule over your time, that's a good thing, right? The more that you combat your negative thoughts, you become more ruler over your thoughts. That's definitely a good thing because you're always replacing with something good. So now that you're always replacing with something good, you're faithful over replacing with something good. Guess what? More good comes to you. It's just going to be that reciprocal because it's just the principle of creation. They look at the demonstration of the behavior. So if you in any Jesus parable, if you look at the demonstration of the behavior and not so much the spiritual aspect of it, it may make more sense to you. And you can actually see how that principle is applied in your life in ways that you would think are non-spiritual. It just works that way. Um, so become faithful over few. Okay, really think about what you guys want to be faithful over few over, whatever that might be. Okay, and just know that you're going to get more of that if you just have to demonstrate the faithfulness. Okay, demonstrate the faithfulness. Okay, and then here's the other thing: trust that this programming works. This is the other great part about um, this work for me. I wanted to endeavor to scientifically prove that God is real, and I'm working towards that and other things that I'm doing beyond the group. But what it did lead me into is the science of the subconscious to fully understand what it does. And so, even though I have great faith in the things that I am working on, I also have complete belief in the science of what I'm doing. Okay, I don't say things over myself that I don't want to see happen. I don't even listen to things that I don't want to see happen in my life really happen over my life. I mean, I don't watch those things at all really. And the reason is because I know how the subconscious operates. I know that I only want to feed myself continually the good things that I want to see outpictured in my life, the good results. So I want my thoughts, I want anything that I'm ingesting to actually mirror how I want my life to look, right? And that's all intentional. It's all a part of the long-term ongoing experiment of proving that if you take control over your thoughts and you only feed your subconscious mind good commands, ultimately this is what it will result in for you: a good life. If all you think is good and all you see is good, ultimately you will have a good life. And it's not a good life because you have, material possessions. It's a good life because you are very centered in what is good for you. How are you good? How are you good in all ways? Like it just results in that because that's all you choose to think on is not good in yourself, but just good in general. And then you just recognize that each moment is good. If you just really get down to it, each moment is good. And as I have determined that each moment is good, uh, become faithful over that. Creation just gives me more good moments to rule over and to be able to do things that I love in. It's a very it's a very natural application of the work. It's demonstrated in your behavior. So find something that you are willing and not even taking a whole lot of effort to something that you would just love to do, you know, for an hour a day, 15 minutes a day, any amount of time a day, something that you just would love to do, something that you just crave, you're craving it, right? You know, feed that craving, okay? Feed that good craving and find out as you become more faithful over that thing that gives you whatever inspiration, uh, whatever you decide to use it for, okay? If that time doesn't expand as you become faithful, it's going to be done because of the demonstration of your behavior, not just because you're doing what God said. You are demonstrating a biblical principle, but it's also a metaphysical principle. It's a law of creation principle. Whatever you're faithful over, you become ruler over many of. Um, and here's a flip side to that. If your eyes are constantly bent towards lack, uh, uh, deficiency, God's presence not being present where you are, so the moment is good. Anytime that you see any moment as not good, you're being faithful over the absence of good. Okay, you're being faithful over the absence of good. And so when you're faithful over the absence of good, you get more things to feel like that about. The principle is still working in the same way. Okay. So if you become faithful over the presence of good, more and more and more and more and more over all things, just determine that all moments are good. If you're there, then the creator is there. If the creator is there, then the moment must be good. Therefore, each moment you experience must be a good moment, period. Each moment you experience must be a good moment because the creator is there. If you're there, the creator is there. The creator's there, it's a good moment. So that means if you're there, the creator's there, it's a good moment. Okay. So just resolving your mind, each moment is good. And as you resolve in your mind that each moment is good, okay, you have more good moments to rule over. It just works that way. It's the same demonstration of being faithful over few. Okay. And that ultimately is one of the goals of this work is to actually get you to want to just voluntarily go on the 30-day mental diet. Because when you do, what ends up happening is you just fundamentally have a different way of seeing and speaking. And and when you're seeking the good, good finds you. And when you're calling good forward, good comes to you. It just works. And as you do it more and more over time, you just have more and more of a life that where you experience the good that you are constantly believing is in front of you, around you, with you at all times, and the good life you're speaking. You're faithful over that. And it's because of the laws of creation, in addition to the creator's wonderful way of explaining this to us uh, through scripture and other ways, you will become ruler over many. So, one of the best things that you could do to be faithful over is that every moment is good. And come out, because just knowing the application of the principle will result in the outcome of more good moments. Like you won't be having to force yourself to believe it's good. It'll just be good. It'll be the good that you have been wanting to experience, and then it's not a forced good. It naturally evolves in that way. All right, my friends, you guys have yourselves a wonderful, powerful, magnetic day. I love you guys so much. Have a great, great, great Tuesday. Bye.